Hello there everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing really well. For today's video, I thought we were overdue a big fat catch up. I was aiming to do this as a KFC mukbang situation, but I'm not gonna lie, I've already eaten it all. I just got a KFC barbecue snack wrap, which is my favourite thing to order at the moment. I do still have a crisp Pepsi Max though. Anyway, as I was saying, I feel like we're overdue a big life update because I just came back to YouTube randomly after about 7-ish months, I think, with my travel videos and no explanation as to where I'd been, why I'd stopped posting and what my plan was in terms of posting now and for the future. So I thought we could have a little update on things. As I said, I did try to come back about 7 months ago and I posted a few videos, and I think it got to about Halloween and then I just stopped again. I wanted to come back, but I don't really know if I was fully ready to. However, now I feel like there's a lot of changes that are happening in my life, and with that comes more willingness and more content to actually be able to film long form for YouTube. So I felt like now was a good time to return. I'd be lying if I said that it wasn't the travelling that spurred me on. I've been on holidays throughout the past year that I've not documented on YouTube, and I really miss doing that. Whenever I go away, I'm almost like, oh, I wish I was documenting this so that I can watch it back. But I also think a break is what was needed, so I'm not gonna be annoyed at myself for that. So I've been back from travelling now for almost a month. It's the 17th of July and on the 20th of July I'll have hit my month mark. I had the most amazing time travelling. I actually can't believe that little old me went solo travelling in Southeast Asia across 4 countries all by herself, navigated it solo, navigated a really bad illness. I got so sick over there. If you've watched the travel vlogs you'll know. And made it and survived and got to the end, and I've gained so much confidence from doing that because never did I think that I would be the type of girl to go backpacking. To be honest, it was never really on the agenda, but it has really opened up my eyes and it's made me want to travel more. It's made me want to travel to some more interesting places. I would love to touch down in Central Asia. I'd also love to go across to South America. I'd love to do Australia. There's so much now that I really want to see, and I feel a lot more confident in doing that, which honestly is amazing. So yeah, I had an amazing time traveling, and then coming back from traveling, my plan was shortly after my best friend Jess was going to move in with me, and then I was starting 2 new jobs. So I suppose we'll take those one by one. Jess has now been living with me. I think we're coming up to about three weeks. We must be on about 2.5 weeks now. So far, so good. There have been a few teething problems, I'm not gonna lie, and there was definitely pros and cons to her moving in. One of the massive pros was finances, because I'll be completely honest, since Charlotte passed away, finances have been a difficulty. It's really hard to go from a double income household to a single income household, but still have the responsibilities of paying all of the bills that you once paid as a 2, being as we owned our house. So by just moving in, it means that I can start splitting all of the bills again, which is good for me, but it's also really good for her. Another reason why we did that is it's just nice to have some company in the house. I think everyone knows that I have really struggled being on my own at home. Charlotte passed away at home, which is a big factor in that, because I associate the house not just with the happy memories of us, but with sad memories of us and a lot of trauma. So quite often I do struggle being at home by myself, and it is something that has eased over time, and I have probably only just started to feel more confident and comfortable in the house again, and like I've found some of those safe spaces again, because at the start nothing felt safe. So to invite Jess into that is definitely going to be difficult, but on the flip side, having the company is also going to be a godsend, because when I hear a little bang at night, I'm not going to be anxious that someone's coming in to get me. I'm just going to think, oh okay, that's probably Jess moving around or doing something. There is also one other pro which I mentioned on TikTok, but I can't actually remember what that was. That was the other thing. It was having Jess around makes me more able to get into a routine, which I'm aware sounds a little bit silly, but ever since Jess has moved in, I've been much more on it with doing my food shopping, having my breakfast, my lunch and my dinner, actually cooking in the house for the first time in like 15 months. I think when I have to do it for myself, I'm not very good at it, but knowing that there's someone else that not is reliant on me, because she's obviously a fully grown adult and can fend for herself, but if we're having dinner together, I'm going to cook dinner, because I know that if I don't, Jess is going to starve. It has just helped keep me accountable, I suppose. So those are all of the pros. The cons were, as I've already mentioned, inviting somebody into the space that I still very much consider to be myself and Charlotte's is going to be difficult for a few reasons. It's almost like living with 3 people, because I've still got a lot of Charlotte stuff around, but mainly just because, like I say, I've only just started to feel a little bit more safe in the house, and like I've got safe areas again. And for me, it's a space where, yes, causes a lot of upset, but also is a place where I can go to be upset. I can express myself freely and my emotions freely. If I want to have a big sobbing, crying session, I can. But with Jess being there, I don't really feel as able to do that. And that's nothing against her, that's more just our relationship. It's never ever been an emotional one. So I just don't really feel as able to express myself at home as I once did, which I think is probably going to be the biggest issue to work around, but we will find ways to work around that. And I'm probably going to have to get a little bit more comfortable with allowing Jess to see those parts of me that really she just doesn't know, because even though she's known me for more than half of my life-ish, she hasn't seen this side of me since Charlotte passed away, which is a completely new me, because when she's around I've always put on the old Tanya, but actually there's a new Tanya now. I don't know why it's making me a bit upset, but oh yeah, there's a new me now that she's gonna have to get to know, and I'm just gonna have to get a bit more comfortable with letting her see that, which is scary and it's uncomfortable, but it's something that will need to be done if we plan on living together. Oh, let's take a little breather, shall we? Anyway, the last sort of update, as I mentioned earlier, was that I was going to go back to work. This is something that I have been trying to do for a really long time. As I said, I left my job at the end of September last year, and I've been working for the community mental health team for about 2.5 years at that point. So I'd been there a long time, but for me it just wasn't the right fit anymore. But that's okay, because I did manage to get 2 other job offers. Now, one of them I've accepted, one of them I did briefly accept, but I've very recently decided against, and I've not really spoken about this anywhere yet, so I feel like now is a good time. So the one that I've accepted, and I'm currently on break from now, is a job as a crash assistant or a nursery assistant. I'm not too sure what you would call it. So I'm doing bank hours for that, which means I can accept as many or as little hours as I like. And at the moment, for the rest of July and for all of August, it's kind of just looking like a normal part-time job, because I've accepted as many hours as I possibly can. So I'm at least working like 2 times a week most weeks, and then some weeks more if they've given me availability for that. I did, however, have something that was supposed to supplement this position, and if you watched my YouTube years ago, you'll know that I used to work as a healthcare assistant in an inpatient hospital, and I managed to get exactly the same job in exactly the same place again. But as the recruitment process has gone on, like since I've had my interview, I had a few issues with occupational health asking me to go through testing and vaccinations, which I didn't really want. But also I just kind of stepped back, and when I was like, am I ready to return to mental health? Do I really want to return to mental health? So I came back home, I sat with family, and I did the pros and cons. And the only real pro to me accepting that job, if I'm honest, was the money. But then sometimes I just think the money isn't worth my well-being. I've had to fight so hard to get to where I am now, which is nowhere near perfect, and there's still lots of work to be done, but I've just had to fight to get to this point, and I don't think I'm willing, to be honest, to go back into an environment that's going to completely destabilise me. And I'm not saying that it definitely would, but I do think it would send me back a few steps. I also think the shift work of doing long days, nights, weekends, like it being very unpredictable, isn't good for me. It's taken me ages again to get into a sleep routine that is somewhat looking better. Like I'm sleeping regularly at night now, and I don't really want to mess that up, because when I'm not sleeping, I'm not good. Like it's another area of my life that I'm not good in, so I really want to try my hardest to maintain that. And I don't think doing shift work would give me the routine that I'm looking to develop. So yes, it would have been great for the money, but there would have been so much else that it would have taken away from that. I don't think it was worth the sacrifice, if that makes sense. I'm trying to think if there's any other updates. Like I say, I've just been spewing information out at you. I'm aware that this probably hasn't answered everyone's questions because it's not really a Q&A. But if anyone has got any questions, then feel free to drop them in the comments or send them across to me on Instagram or TikTok. I just thought for now it would be good to give a bit more of a chatty update to say I've finished travelling, Jess has moved in. So if you see someone walking around in the background or you hear me like referring to things like, oh, we or us, I've not moved on from Charlotte, I'm not dating, I've not found anyone new, I'm just living with my bestie. And also that I am now back in work, and I'm actually very happy to be back in work. Yeah, I think that's about it. I'm going to bring this video to a close. Thank you very much if you've been listening to me ramble for far too long, because I can tell by the time. I do really hope you want to stick around for the rest of the journey. Hopefully I'll be back to business now. I've got some moving vlogs coming up, a weekly vlog coming up. Yeah, join me for the ride. Subscribe down below, like this video if you enjoyed it, and I will catch you very soon in the next one. Goodbye.